two Cornell psychologists, Dunning and Kruger, gave people some basic tests. Then they asked everyone to guess how they scored themselves in the test. The people who scored near the bottom, around the 12th percentile mark, guessed that they scored somewhere around 62nd percentile mark, a 50-point difference. The worst performers weren't just wrong on the test itself. They were wrong about measuring themselves. Named after the same psychologists, the Dunning-Kruger effect reveals why the least skilled people feel the most sure about their performance. Now, because this is a video about certainty, I want to be fair. Statisticians have taken real swings at the famous curve since, arguing that part of it is just a math artifact. But here's what everyone agrees on. Almost all of us rate ourselves above average, and confidence turns out to be a terrible measure of skill, which means the feeling of being sure proves nothing. Feeling sure is a feeling. Checking is an action. And when the feeling starts doing the action's job, you get the certainty lock. So here's one question for you. When did you last change your mind about something that mattered to you? Not when you gained a different perspective, but when you actually changed a core belief. A belief about money, health, humans, God, yourself. But if you can name one, just one from the last 5 years, your machinery still works. Because of one simple, boring reason, that you did not get everything right the first time you picked it up. And if you can't name one, take a minute and let that sink in. It doesn't mean that you're broken or that you're stupid. It just means that for the last 5 years, nothing got past the security, the shields that you have around you, the fences that you build to protect yourself, which means that every new piece of information that came to you was either treated as an attack or you just agreed with it. But moving forward, I want you to give every belief a fair chance by asking 3 questions. Number 1, has my own experience actually tested it? Number 2, does the logic hold when the smartest person who disagrees with me pushes back? And finally, number 3, what does it do in my body when I say it out loud? Like, how does it make me feel? I've talked about this before. Experience, logic, and feeling, the triple filter. A belief that passes all 3, you have earned. Everything else is a borrowed belief. I've thought about it and I've come up with 3 reasons why the locked mindset is so overpowering and default for most of us. The first one is the scoreboard. Listen carefully to how someone explains their wins and losses. When a locked mind wins, it's a skill. I called it. I did the work. I knew about it. When it loses, the story flips. The market's rigged. The boss plays favorites. They got lucky. Psychologists call the pattern self-serving bias. And it isn't a character flaw. It's a painkiller. Blame is how a locked mind protects the certainty that it's smart. But blame feels like defense. And it quietly hands the autonomy to whoever you blamed. If you've watched this channel for a while, you've heard me come back to ownership again and again. This is why, when something breaks, the sharpest people I know ask, what part of this was mine? Not because they're guilty, but because ownership is the only power that's truly yours. The second tell is where the belief came from. Here's a strange pattern I keep watching people fall into all the time. And I've done it too. The beliefs people defend hardest are usually beliefs they never built themselves. I call it the borrowed belief. A parent's politics, a podcast's worldview, your friend's favorite footy team, whatever your algorithm on Instagram decided this year is best for you. And the extreme versions travel best because an extreme belief gives you a full kit. It comes with the answers, the enemies, a ready-made identity. All you have to do is defend it forever. And in exchange, it does your thinking for you, forever. Nice and easy. The best way to spot a borrowed belief is by pressing against it, pushing against it, and see what it produces. Someone who built their own belief can walk you through where they found it, where the belief actually originated from, and show you almost what changed your mind on the way to making that belief part of their identity. Whereas on the other hand, when you press or push against a borrowed belief, you don't get an explanation. You get offense. Because without the belief, there's nothing left to defend. The third and the final tell is your self-image. It could be a label like, I'm smart or I'm good at wrestling. But notice the softer versions. I've done the work. I'm over it. Or something like, I'm just being realistic. Being regulated and being unprovoked lately are two different states. But you only learn which one you've got when life throws a wrecking ball at you. Certainty about who you are is still certainty. And it looks exactly the same. Think about it. Certainty answers a test with offense. Intelligence answers it with an experiment, an examination, a question. Intelligence checks. Stupidity defends. That's the entire difference this video is about. And you've probably felt this too. The sharpest people I've been around have kind of a quiet in them. They don't spend confidence they haven't earned. And they're stingy with their attention because they treat attention like money. The loudest certainty in the room is usually the thinnest claim. I've learned this the hard way too. The first time, I probably read the first book that I've ever read, the Gita. There was an evening where something to me went, that's it. That's the manual for life. And I don't need another book for the rest of my life. It didn't feel like arrogance. It felt like arrival at the destination. And it felt great in that moment. What broke that belief wasn't a rival philosophy or another book. It was the same book. I read it again, and it wasn't the same book. Pages that I'd earlier skimmed over had more meaning in them. Lines that I was certain I understood meant something different now. Same book, but I changed. My interpretation changed, so my identity changed. And a book that you read multiple times and it upgrades you every time you read is proof in your own hands that understanding is not always a destination. It's a process. So is your identity. So applying a lock to a certain identity is pretty much restricting yourself, putting yourself in shackles. That's what I do for this YouTube channel now. I brew ideas through other traditions, philosophies, and through whatever science I can find. Not to replace them, to pressure test them. And some crack. But what's left is the good stuff, the filtered coffee that I trust differently because it's been brewed and it has an essence of its own. And maybe you're thinking, hold on, confidence is how anything gets done. And you're right, I'm not saying live in permanent doubt. Keep your convictions, I have plenty of them. Confidence is for acting, but checking is for believing. The trouble was never how sure you feel. The problem is the certainty lock. But if you keep the checking alive, you can definitely keep the confidence as well, because it's passed through the test, through the examination, and it has passed the questions. It is not a borrowed belief anymore if you can truly defend it with reason and logic and through your own perspective because you have experienced it, you have examined it yourself firsthand, and now that belief is yours. So how do you get rid of the lock? Noticing that there is a lock is the first step of it opening. The world will keep offering you certainty, pre-assembled for you, and it's becoming cheaper every year. That's what the algorithms are made for. And you don't beat that by knowing more than everyone. You beat it by checking better than you used to, by asking questions, by being curious. And if you're still here, thank you. Honestly, if I gave you a fresh perspective, subscribe because your support truly matters. I'll see you soon. Bye.